as much interest in that as flying in the air. It means nothing to me. You want to talk about what we see tonight? This is what our business is. This is what all that stuff is. I can't even. I don't.
Fun. It was quite threatening, actually, and quite. You know, if I was a bit of a snowflake, then I'd have been upset. I'd have been offended by it because it was threatening. He was calling it on, and he was saying basically, "Watch your back," and you don't want to go back to prison. So he needs to be careful, doesn't he? I mean,
against him, and we'll see how that progresses now.
Is there any truth in the $100 million rumours?
100 million, yeah, that's the number. I mean, it's massively defamatory, and also, you know,
he just smacked the fucking table. There's 4 fighters on that stage who are literally half the age of this man, and yet he is the man who everyone is fucking.
Carl Froch takes legal action against John Fury after press conference meltdown. John Fury crossed every line imaginable, and now the lawyers are involved. Carl Froch has had enough, and this just became something far bigger than a boxing beef. And the man being warned to watch his back just told the whole world he cannot rubbish the Cobra because the credentials speak for themselves, and the legal machine is already in motion.
He's talking nonsense, and he'd like to play the Cobra down, but he can't because I've got the backing. I've got the credentials. You know what I'm saying? He can't rubbish the Cobra and say that I don't deserve to be where I'm at.
Eddie Hearn confirmed it without flinching. An apology was requested. John Fury refused point blank. So the legal papers were filed, and the matter was handed straight to the lawyers. This stopped being a boxing feud the moment John Fury decided his pride was worth more than a simple sorry.
Asked him to apologise for the comments, and he wouldn't do so. So we filed a lawsuit against him, and we'll leave it in the hands of the lawyers.
John Fury stood there with the adrenaline still pumping through him and made absolutely no attempt to calm the situation down. 20 men on his back, and he still wanted to go. That is the mindset that has now landed him in a courtroom situation, and he still has not blinked once about any of it.
You can see I'm fucking ready to go, mate. It took 20 fucking men to hold me. It took fucking 20 minutes to hold me back. Where are you, fucking way? I'll push them fucking... I'll push them Superman beats right your fucking... I'll push them Superman like this. Put your fucking...
Johnny Nelson put it plainly, and without any sympathy whatsoever. The fines are already piling up, and if John Fury repeats the same behavior before fight night, the financial damage is only going to get worse. An expensive miscalculation is one way to describe it. A man letting his temper right checks his bank account cannot cash is another way entirely, and the bill is getting bigger with every outburst.
And if he does it again and he's over, he's going to get fined again. And I don't know if it's by the pound, by the ounce, what he's getting fined for, but it's an expensive...
The British Boxing Board of Control confirmed what everyone already suspected. There was a physical strike. A formal hearing took place. A fine was handed down. Robert Smith was in that room, and the verdict was clear. This was not a misunderstanding at a press conference. This was a man physically attacking another person in a professional boxing setting, and the sport's governing body had to get involved because of it.
Actually, so there will be an appeal taking place. So that fine could be reduced, or it could be increased. It goes in front of a completely independent appeal stewards.
A boxing analyst, Ade Oladipo, watched the footage and said the quiet part out loud. Nobody actually knows what John Fury was going to do if he had got to Carl Froch. And that is the frightening part of all of this. The intent was there. The aggression was there. Only 20 bodies standing between 2 men stopped that press conference from becoming something far more serious than a flipped table and a fine.
Being John Fury went straight for him. I'm not quite sure what he was going to do if he got to him, but I guess that was the entertainment from the press conference.
Eddie Hearn was enjoying every second of this, and he was brutally honest about why. He is not involved, so he can say exactly what he thinks. And what he thinks is that John Fury has chosen the wrong man to run his mouth at. You can throw threats at people who back down. Carl Froch has never backed down from anything in his entire life, and Eddie Hearn knows it better than most people in this sport.
The reason that I like that little bit of beef, right? One is because I'm not involved, and two, because Carl's not the kind of geezer who you can start saying, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and if I see you, because you can say that to me, I'm a wet lettuce. You can't say that to Carl Froch.
Even Derek Chisora, a man who has created his own share of press conference chaos over the years, looked at what John Fury has been doing and said it plainly. Stop going around head-butting people and go fight a proper man. When Derek Chisora is the voice of reason in a boxing controversy, you know the situation has reached a level that even the wildest men in the sport cannot defend anymore.
John Fury, he's always defending his kids, yeah. Point number one, yeah. John Fury should fight that Irish guy. I also have a traveller guy who keeps calling him out in London. I forgot his, Joey Egan. That fight should happen, yeah. You know, stop going around and headbutting young boys. He should fight that guy, Joey.
Johnny Nelson diagnosed the problem with the kind of clarity only a man who has been inside that world truly understands. John Fury gets swallowed by the emotion of the moment, and by the time he realizes what he has done, the damage is already everywhere. The pressure has shifted entirely onto his shoulders now, and someone in that camp better sit him down and have the most serious conversation of his life before this lawsuit gets any worse.
John is an emotional being, gets into the moment, forgets himself. You can see, excuse the bad language, but this is, you know, when you see that, this is the moment when he realized he beat up. It was that, you know, when John had done it, like, shit, what have I done? But he had to own it. I think the pressure was on. The pressure is now on John to behave himself. He's distracted. A lot of attention and talk.
Duke McKenzie identified exactly what John Fury is and what he does and why it keeps working. He walks into a room and turns it into a war zone, and somehow the public cannot get enough of it. But there is a moment where the chaos stops being entertainment and starts becoming a legal matter, and Carl Froch's team just made that moment official by filing papers against him. The public loved the drama right up until the lawyers got involved.
He knows how to shout houses down and make threats and swear and all the rest of it because he creates chaos wherever he goes. And for whatever the reason, the public...
Tony Bellew did not come to defend John Fury, and he made that completely clear from the very first word. A former world champion said publicly that if his own father had carried on like that, he would have pulled him aside immediately and told him to stop embarrassing himself and the sport. Tony Bellew has been at more high-pressure press conferences than most people alive in boxing, and what he witnessed genuinely shocked him. That verdict coming from that man carries serious weight inside this sport, and John Fury needs to hear every word of it before he opens his mouth again.
My father behaved like that at a press conference. I would put him straight and tell him, it's embarrassing and it can't be happening, mate. It's a really bad look for boxing. I'm actually surprised it's been allowed to go on and happen in a place where they're at, to be honest.
Dave Allen sat alongside Carl Froch and stripped away every layer of John Fury's reputation one sentence at a time. Great athlete, super fit, but world-class boxing ability? Not according to the man standing right next to the Cobra. The experience is not there, and the ring craft is not there, and no amount of table flipping or legal battles changes that assessment one single bit. Carl Froch is surrounded by people who genuinely believe John Fury is out of his depth, and they are saying it loudly and without hesitation on camera.
That's boxing ability. I just don't think he does. I don't think he has the experience. I don't think he's had the time to become that. I think he's a great athlete. I think he's super fit. But he's not a world-class. He's not a world-class fighter in my opinion.
Frank Warren was not in the room when it happened, and someone had to physically show him the clip. He saw John Fury with blood on his head and said immediately that nobody wanted to see that. Both sides shook hands and apologized, but a lawsuit being filed tells you that the handshake was not the end of this story. Frank Warren wants it behind them and focused on the fight, but Carl Froch's legal team clearly disagrees that it is already in the past.
What everybody else it seemed. I wasn't there when it happened because we was inside doing whatever we was doing, other interviews I think, and somebody showed it to me. I see John with his cut head. Look, that's not what we want. I don't want to see that happen. No one does. But I understand now both sides have made it up. They've apologised. So hopefully it's all in the past and we can concentrate what everybody's out here for, which is a...
Duke McKenzie took a step back and looked at the wider picture with the kind of experienced eye that only comes from years inside this sport. The circus always travels with this family, and when it arrives, everyone loses their head and says the first thing that comes out. But Duke McKenzie made the point that cuts through all of it. Carl Froch should not be disappointed because the chaos is building the fight and putting eyes on the event. The only difference now is that the chaos has a legal tag attached to it, and that changes everything about how this story ends.
Oh, who knows? you know, they're great at self-promoting, aren't they? And you know, listen, you've heard it all before, you've seen it all before. When Tyson Fury fights, the whole circus comes to town, and everybody just jumps on board and says the first thing that comes into their head. So it is what it is. Like I said, I don't think Froch should be disappointed with that one bit. You're not, certainly. You know, so is it good for the sport? They're promoting the fight. Simple as that. They're just promoting the...
Eddie Hearn stood there and said the one thing that every honest person in boxing was thinking, but nobody wanted to say first. It went too far. Blood at a press conference is over the top, and people look down on it. But the fight game has its own rules, and what happened between these two men just made this the most talked about boxing event in Britain right now. Good or bad, the interest has exploded, and the eyes are locked on fight night whether a lawsuit is involved or not.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's boxing, it's family. John's John. Both goading each other. Both very personal. Both means a lot to everybody. Shouldn't have done it.
The Wade concept removed every piece of emotion from this argument and replaced it with cold, hard reality. John Fury is 60 years old, and the confidence he carries into every room in the world does not fill a gas tank when Carl Froch is pressing him against the ropes in round 2. 2 rounds was the verdict. Maybe 1. The table flip was spectacular. The lawsuit is dramatic. But inside a boxing ring with no security and no lawyers and no cameras to perform for, the physical reality of what Carl Froch still is would arrive very quickly and very painfully for a man who has spent more time at press conferences than he has inside training camps.
This dude, I love that John is just so confident in himself. He would gas inside of 2 rounds. 2 rounds, but if he even made it 2 rounds with Carl Froch, he would gas probably in the first round. He's 60 years old. I'm not saying he couldn't hobble about for 4 rounds or something, but he would be gassed inside of 2. Because the way that John runs...
Dominic Ingle said what cornermen say when they have assessed both men without sentiment. Carl Froch would flatten him. Not might. Would. And then Dominic Ingle made the point that nobody in the chaos of lawsuits and fines and headlines seems to be talking about. John Fury keeps it alive. He creates the noise that this sport feeds on, and without him this story has no oxygen. But keeping a story alive and keeping yourself upright when Carl Froch is throwing heavy hands with genuine spite and years of professional training behind every punch are 2 completely different challenges, and only one of those challenges happens inside a boxing ring, where the lawyers cannot follow you.
I think Carl Froch had flattened him, and then, if he took him down and he did this out in the street, and everybody's got their opinions, which is good. It keeps it alive.
Duke McKenzie delivered the final verdict that every Carl Froch supporter has been waiting to hear said out loud, and he said it without a single moment of hesitation. Carl Froch is a bad man. Not was. Is. That spite never left him because men like Froch are not built the same way as everyone else, and retirement does not empty the tank, it just redirects it. Duke McKenzie brought up George Groves for a very specific reason. Froch ironed him out in front of the whole world at Wembley Stadium in front of 80,000 people. George Groves was a professional world-class fighter who had prepared for that moment for years, and Froch still put him away.
Yeah, and everybody knows Froch is a tough guy. And if Froch turns up, even though he's an old man now, he's nearly as old as me. No, he's not. He's quite younger than me, actually, Carl Froch. I'm 63. Anyway, but, you know, listen, even Carl Froch, at the age that he is at, would still be enough for John Fury.
This is where the entire story lands, and it is heavier than anyone expected when this beef first started. Carl Froch filed a lawsuit. John Fury refused to apologize. Fines have been handed out. The British Boxing Board got involved. Blood was drawn at a professional press conference. And through all of it, Carl Froch has remained the calmest man in the building because he knows something that John Fury does not seem to understand yet. The chaos ends the moment those gloves go on. No lawyers inside that ring. No security. No 20 men holding anyone back. Just Carl Froch with a point to prove and a record that speaks louder than any table ever could. John Fury made this personal, and Carl Froch just made it legal. Fight night is when it becomes final. Drop your prediction in the comments right now. Does John Fury survive the ring, or does the Cobra make him pay for every single word he refused to take back?